I've been a great believer for many years in the power of networks in their many guises. After all, this is the BVTV network, where we're building a community of visual learners. What's fascinated me has been the psychology behind the success of networks. Welcome to the BVTV Leadership and People channel, coming to you from the UK studios of BizVision. I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. Now, as I said, what makes networks or even clusters a success has always piqued my curiosity. Well, now that curiosity has been gratefully feeding on the information and guidance in this book, Impact Networks Create Connection, Spark Collaboration, and Catalyze Systemic Change. So let's meet its author, David Ehrlichman. Hello, David.
Hi there. Thank you for having me.
I'm thoroughly enjoying your book, and I know I'll tell you what, we'll talk a little bit about some of the language within it that I've been enjoying a bit later on, but it really is help having been involved with so many networks in the past, and have the frustrating of them all. So is it achieving what you wanted to achieve?
So far, yeah. And to speak to the point you just made, you're right. We all operate in many different networks, and we come into contact with people through social lives and our work and other scenarios. And most times those networks are formed organically by happenstance often. But what many people don't realize is we can actually deliberately form networks to achieve specific goals for shared learning, for action, to create collective change. And hearing the responses from people who have been picking it up has been really gratifying.
Excellent. Yeah. So tell us, though, what's an impact network? I believe you say there are three types, and how can they work today to meet today's business challenges?
Sure. I mean, everybody has heard of social networks, of course, but impact networks are really networks that are deliberately organized between individuals and organizations to advance learning and action for some shared purpose. And so the difference here is, again, it's deliberately organized, creating connections, sparking collaboration, catalyzing systemic change for some shared purpose. There are different types of impact networks. Some are primarily focused on learning networks. They're sharing information, they're sharing resources with one another. Some networks take that a step further and say, we actually want to promote collaborative action. We want to get things done together. Those are action networks. And then some networks are interested in supporting a broader movement of change, bringing lots of people in to advance some kind of shared goal. And those are called movement networks. But really, overall, it's about the connection between people and getting something done together.
Yeah, I've got that. Yes, yeah, very clearly, because my experience is if you don't have a shared purpose, whether it's to grow your business or whatever it may be, then people just drift apart and they don't feel they're part of the network.
Mm-hmm. It's true. And within organizations, networks are always apparent as well. Whether the org chart might say one thing, but really how work is getting done and how people are communicating with one another are through these different networks of connections that naturally arise. And so by taking a look at those and really being more thoughtful about how people are connected and where information is flowing, we can improve the performance of organizations as well.
Yeah. Do you think then, based upon your phraseology of impact network there, that you've got to keep reminding members of the network what it is, what their goal is, and how they're achieving it, or how they can achieve it through the network?
Yeah, I love that. It's so true. The purpose is really what connects people together fundamentally. Even prior to the opportunity when we get to have deeper conversations and form trust and relationships with one another, which is what will sustain it over time. But what brings people together is that shared purpose of what we're trying to achieve together.
Yeah. I found it in the past. I've had to keep reminding people, as we've progressed over a few months or whatever it may be, how we set out. And in a few cases, I've sort of started every meeting as a leader and just reminded them of the purpose.
It's a really great way to connect people together before they've had a chance to dig into the work or have those deeper conversations, reminding them of the purpose, because we don't always know exactly what needs to be done and how to do it, or we're going to have very different ideas of the right things to do. But if we can at least align around the vision we have for the future or the place we're trying to go, then we can hang in there long enough as we work through those disagreements and tensions to find that slice of common ground where we can work together.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. And I'm looking forward to exploring that much more in your trilogy with us. Thanks, David. Now, let's give viewers and listeners details of your URL, your website address, which obviously viewers can see on the screen behind me. But for listeners, let me spell it out. It's all the W's, Converge, which is Converge, converge.net. So appropriate word, isn't it, for network? Converge.net. David's book, this one, is called Impact Networks: Create Connection, Spark Collaboration, and Catalyze Systemic Change. And it's published by BK, that's Berrett-Koehler Publishers. David is also producer of the documentary Short Impact Networks: Creating Change in a Complex World. David, how and where can we view the documentary?
It will premiere on February 1st. You'll be able to find it at converge.net/film and all the other social media channels, but that would be the easiest place to find it. February 1st, it's launching.
Excellent. Look forward to that. In episode 2, I'm going to ask David about how to sustain interest amongst the participants in a network. For now, David, thanks for episode 1.
All right. Thank you. See you soon.